Hey, what's up? Hey, old school. Hey, second edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons players. Oh, to you, who amongst you would play the game online? I'm trying to find out. I don't want to do a survey. I'm not on X and I'm not on Roll20. So I come here and I'm asking you straight up. Put your beef aside with me, right, please, and give me a response. Tell me, out of you, who would be willing to play online. I'm interested in knowing because there's a lot of things people want to do where they could assume it's going to be popular and work and whatnot. But no, I need to check interest first. I want to game online. I'm definitely down for running second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons as a starter. Because I know many people already know the game. And I'd be willing to do something pretty big. I want to really give some consistent gaming time on here to people. Right? Really do some gaming with people so people can experience my gaming a bit more. See what I have to offer, right? And it's not a brag thing, but I'm pretty good. But I'd like to draw in other game masters that like to run second edition. I'm really focused on second edition here because if I'm going to play D&D, that's my preferred style. Now, I'm open to other things, but this is where I want to start, right? I want to know. I want to know who's interested in second edition. Some people out there don't like me and they'll either not respond to something or they'll respond to something in a negative way, but they like the thing, they just don't like me. What they don't realize is most people don't understand there's a beef with me and these people. And all they think is, oh, the game must suck that I'm talking about, not me. So if I say second edition, and there's a bunch of second edition guys out there, and they choose to ignore this or tell me to go fuck myself, well, fair enough. Other people who don't know that you have a beef with me, that are on the fence looking in, deciding where they want to stand, what they want to do, they see the reaction to a video on second edition, and they don't assume it's getting a bad reaction because people don't like me. They assume it's getting a bad reaction because people don't like second edition, which would be very far from the truth. But these things happen when some nerds, their anger for me overtakes their logical thinking. And they don't realize that because other people on the fence don't know the beef, that their dismissal of what I'm saying is more taken as a dismissal of the thing I'm talking about rather than it being me being dismissed. I'd like to start a real gaming community of active gaming. Right? It's not easy because a lot of people have these pipe dreams on here. And they go about it so carelessly. I just set it up and it will happen. And some of it can happen. There can be a bit of it. And I've seen people start up and then it all flakes away after a while. Right? And I'm like, I don't want something to flake away. I want something I can start and maybe has legs to go further. But I need to make sure the people are on board for what's being done. Right? That they're willing to give their time, join the thing, like do the thing and not just be part of the downfall, because there's things in the past where there's been a lot of interest for that thing. Right? But a lot of people in the hobby don't follow through on things. So there'd be a lot of interest, people would build it, and then they have to look like ass clowns, like idiots, because they put themselves out there. And even though many, many people verbally support it, nobody would come through. People would be lazy and half-assed in the hobby. And the hobby, people in the hobby have a pretty popular history of dropping the ball on many, many, many things. Now, if I'm going to do something, I don't want it, like, if it fails, so be it. But I don't want to do something where the ball is dropped so easily. And that I set something up and nobody shows up at all. When I know, because I know there's a lot of interest for second edition. I know there is. There's tons of interest for that game. Right? So it's like, hey, I want to make something more out of that. And I don't need myself built up. I'm willing to do a private thing or work with some other people. It doesn't have to be my thing. But I do want to get something going where I personally can take, I can be involved. because I love running games, and I'm actually really good at it. And I a lot of people on here don't like me because somebody in the old school, some YouTuber lied about me. It's a complete lie. They're not liking me because of a lie, but really they feel okay with believing the lie because I said an opinion about the games that they don't like. And instead of confronting that they just don't agree with me, they'd rather dismiss me and throw me into a corner instead of dealing with that. And it seems a lot of people in the hobby are that way. You could say the slightest thing that they don't agree with, and they'd rather honestly attack you and dismiss you instead of talking to you, getting to know you, meeting in the middle, evolving the conversation. All these ideas seem to go out the window with most of the people in the hobby. See, I'm okay with gaming with strangers, the people watching. I'm okay with that. I'm willing to run games, do all kinds, run multiple games, and I'm a campaign guy, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck in one-shots and something not going somewhere. Like, I'm looking for people that want to do some long-term gaming. I can do some one-shots too. And hey, if we can bring in other people to run games, great, but it's not necessary, at least not right away. I'm willing to be the sort of starting factor, get the games going, right? But I need to know who's interested. Look, it saddens me that I know there's a lot of people out there that privately say to other people that they would like to try my game. They'd like to play the game with me. But they think due to how people view me and how successful the attack, the false image of me has been painted and really dug into the people's minds. Because there's a false image created of me over a 6-year period, or not, more like 4-year period. But a total, you know what I mean? Just 6 years of just a various amount of lies from a variety of people for a variety of reasons, all bullshit, mind you. People have repeated a false picture of who I am so much that it's stuck. Like, it's not just saying it one time, but guys did this for years. Kept just completely making up lies about me and then repeating the lies until people created that image. And the reason they did it is because, in all honesty, I'd say something about the games that they didn't agree with, but they couldn't really argue back. Instead of accepting that, they would be angry at me. And even though in some cases they know initially what's being said about me is not true, they'd actually acknowledge that. They know it's not true. It'd be 3 years later, that guy would be telling the lie to me as if it's true. And the more warped part is, years ago when he first heard it, he knew it was a lie. But he has repeated the lie to himself so many times in his justification to dismiss me or say fuck off, that here years later, the guy who knew it was a lie years before is now, he believes the lie to be true because he has been living inside of that lie, right? And it sucks. And I wish people would just put that all aside. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not perfect. I'm not an angel. But I'm not a bad guy. Not crazy. Nothing. Nothing like that. So open your fucking minds and let me know. And there'll be other people that will come by this video and they're going to think you don't like 2nd edition, even though you do. And I'm not looking to either make 2nd edition look good or look bad. I'm really looking just to get some feedback. So if there are people that want to game online, that door is open. Am I willing to do other games later down the line? Yeah, but it's nothing I want to commit to. I don't want to say, yeah, I'll do 5e and then have like fucking 100 5e people show up before anybody else saying, yeah, we're here to game. It's like, dude, that's not where we're starting, my friend. So, you know, that all that can come in time. All that can come in time. But I'm looking for a starting point. And if there's enough interest shown, I'll then come back and tell you guys about what I want to do. But I don't want to commit to anything like a fool until I see real interest. So I'm looking for that. And it's not just me. Other people that be willing to do stuff will definitely check this out to see if you're responding. They'll check down. And if you're just ignoring me because it's me or you're one of these people, or you start attacking me on this video even though you like 2nd edition, you're not harming me. I'll be fine. It's the image of 2nd edition that you'll be harming in the minds of people sitting on the fence that will come by this content. That's what they're going to see. They're going to think you're attacking me, not for me, but for the sake of saying, fuck this game. Right? Just remember how simple most people are. I'm not trying to insult people, it's just true. Most people will believe everything said in the title of the story and never read the story. So just think about how simple people are when they view what you're doing. And the most simple way to look at it is, oh, you think that game is trash. They're going to think that you're attacking the game and not me. I don't know how many times in the past I've talked about specific things, and somebody will attack me from the old school. And I'll talk to people, and they'll think that I'm being attacked, not because it's me, but because that old gaming sucks. And that's, a lot of people walk away with that in their minds because they don't know the history between me and the person hating me. So they don't even know there's hate there to assume anything. Their mindset is just not there. There's a lot of people in the hobby that don't know all of us and don't know all of our fucking drama. It's not like everybody fucking tracks everything you do. And so when people come in and they don't know there's drama between me and somebody, how they take your attack, I mean, it's definitely, in most cases, it's not what the hater wanted people to take from what they said. Right? Because the hater comes at you like they're saying something as if they get it. It's an inside joke for the most part, because it will take other haters keeping track of this to understand what it is they're saying or why they're saying it. Everyone on the outside looking in that doesn't know the drama, when they see attacks from old nerds towards me on here, they don't put it together because they have no experience. They have no evidence. They don't know we don't like each other. They don't put that together in their head. And I don't know how many people I've talked to who walked away saying, yeah, first edition must suck, man. I mean, you bring that up, people will attack you. And I had people tell me that after I did a video criticizing AD&D first edition. So they never even took my criticism. They actually thought that just because I was talking about it, I was pro AD&D 1. This is exactly what a ton of people thought. And I got attacked. Now I'm getting attacked because I'm criticizing AD&D 1. That's why the old nerds are attacking me. Problem is, a shitload of people didn't know that. And they didn't even put it together that I was criticizing AD&D 1. Almost everybody outside of the old nerds that don't like me, almost every single person looked at that video and thought I was promoting AD&D 1, and I was an old school guy finding out how unpopular the game is and being put in my place. Shitloads of people have thought these type of things for a variety of videos because old nerds attack me without giving a background as to why the attack is happening. Right? People need to know what you're attacking. So most old nerds that attack me, people won't even know why they're attacking, so it becomes a meaningless thing and actually just ends up communicating nonsense. Next thing you know, I'm being accused of promoting a game I don't like. and even though I'm being attacked for criticizing the game by someone who loves the game, they think the lover of the game is attacking the game. And they're getting confused. They think I like it and that the person attacking is attacking the game I like. They don't realize that I'm criticizing it and the old nerd attacking me is the guy who loves AD&D first edition. I don't know how many times that has to happen for me to just... I get a good chuckle out of it, and I'll rarely mention how that plays out here. It's always hope a little of it is obvious because I have so much hate that comes my way from comments where the guys just give no background as to why they're making an aggressive comment at me. And so most people are they're going to be simple about these things. Right? Just saying. Anyway, if I get no response, fair enough. Right? But I'm totally up for gaming online. So if you in the tabletop role-playing game hobby would be interested in gaming, I'm a down-to-earth, easy-to-talk to guy. I really am. Don't believe lies, right? And I'm a hard worker. I'll put the grind in, I'll put the work in. So if I want to get something going, we can make something real. And it'd be nice to see something successful happen instead of a pipe dream. Right? Oh, we want to get this group together. It falls apart in a year. It doesn't get together at all. I want something that can be long-lasting where more active gaming, especially old school related, would be something where we can take that away from Roll20. Because I look at Roll20 as a bit of a woke-leaning group. I mean, they censored me for just my opinions that I shared in a YouTube video. And I didn't even do anything on the site. And really, I think they just censored me because I'm conservative. That's it. They've given me no justification. It's complete political censorship. That's what's happening to me on Roll20. So, I mean, at this stage, I'm like, well, okay, fair enough. You want to play the game so unfair. Well, then, people that you don't like that might be old school need somewhere else to go. And I see some of it happen there, here and there, but it's flaky. It's all over the place, right? I want to do more than that, and I'm willing to put some grind work in. It doesn't take much support to get there. It doesn't take much for people just to take 2 seconds out of their day. I'm not asking you for a day or a starting time, my friend. I'm just asking, is the interest there? Meaning, would you be willing, like if we create the conditions, we pick the right day for you, let's not even worry about what day that is, but just under the conditions that you would have the time, would you game online? And if you would, I want to know. I'd like to... This is me looking at a situation where many people have burnt the bridge down with me. And they burned the bridge, not me. Just in 100% of cases, to be clear. So, I've never burned a bridge with anybody. Not a single person in the old school. I've never done the burning of the bridge. They've all been burnt on the other end. So I'd like to rebuild a bridge, just a general bridge between me and that community to a degree. And I'm willing to be slow and gradual in the process because I know that's really what it takes. Slow, gradual, let's do this step by step, show me some interest, be mature, get over that I have some opinions about games that you don't like, it's not that big of an issue, and talk to me because I'm someone willing to do some work that many people around you wouldn't do and that you want done. And I'm someone willing to do it without being half-assed and doing it in ways that failed over and over again throughout the years that you've seen people try this stuff, right? And every time I give a try because some people hate me, they throw opportunities with me away. It's like, I'm willing to do the grind work and you need the grind work done. You need somebody to keep it active and be around. Well, it's almost every time somebody starts this up, they're not active. They're not around. They don't keep it going. It flakies around for a year or so and then goes away. So I've never seen the right person take lead on one of these things. And here you are, if you're into stuff like that, you got someone willing to do some grind and make it real. It's not about making money. It is just about gaming. If I wanted to, I could be pushing the Neo TTRPG System as the game we game together with. Hey, show me your interest in my new game as I try to sell more copies. Don't get it wrong, I want to sell my game, of course, but I don't think people would take that serious, and I want people to know that I want to do some gaming. This is about gaming. This is not about scamming or using you. It's about gaming. And it's about creating some alternative places where, hey, if Roll20 wants to say to us in the old school, oh, we don't really care about you and you don't belong here, well, okay, well, we'll create our own spaces and we'll belong there, right? And I don't see enough of it. Or if there are other spaces, I got to be honest with you guys, the reason I would have to make one, any other space would mistreat me. That's old school. Like 100%. So there's not a single old school group I can join where the lies and the false picture won't be used against me in the most unfair way. And that's 100% of groups. Not a single old school group out there that wouldn't mistreat me or have members mistreat me because of bold-faced lies that have no relation to reality. So, and I want you to be clear on that. The lies you hear have no relation to reality. Right? But I'd have to put up with people believing lies that have no relation to reality. And that's in 100% of the cases. So, is there a bit of greed or selfishness on my side of wanting to make a group? It's not because I want to be Lord and rule over. I just want to make sure that I can partake in something where I'm not being mistreated because some old, insecure, immature, 50-some-year-old grown man went on 50 fucking streams saying lies about me until they stuck. I don't want to go in situations where those lies and that bullshit and that little mental child is the reason I'm going to be mistreated and I can't get fair treatment. I get mistreated with every group I've ever entered that's old school. It's either they're members or I'm getting booted or somebody doesn't fucking like me, can't be fair with me at all. That, and then even worse, they'll ban me from a bunch of their groups without me saying a word. And then they'll actually pretend like, look, he's been banned from all these places because he's bad. Why was I banned? Now, some people dug up my past where I'm like fucking 18 and fucking 20 on fucking on some of the forums. And when I was a young shit, did I talk some cocky shit? Nothing like fucking controversial, but did I tell a few people to fuck off in my time? Yeah, probably unfairly too. But I was young back then. And they say everything on the internet sticks to you. But when you have a group of liars like I do from the old school, sometimes they'll drag this stuff up just to pretend that it is evidence to the lie that they're telling. Somehow the lie is true because we're saying Steven's an asshole. Here he is fucking over 10 years ago being a bit of a prick to somebody and they interacted back and forth and he told him to go fuck himself. So I guess all the lies we told you about Steven must be true. Right? He was an asshole on Dragons one time here. All the lies we told about you, or told about him, it's true now. See? Here's the evidence. Absolute truth. Can you prove anything else? No. All we can do is show you this. It gets tiresome. I want a game. And I just want a game. I just want a game, dude. And I want a game in a place where I'll be treated fairly. Not where I can mistreat you. It's not what it is. And when I start a group, to me, it's our group. Not mine. Ours. Right? That's how it works. I'm totally down for that. But I just want somewhere where I can game online where it's not like, hey, Steven, come over here and join us. And now we can pretend that you are the person everyone lied about. And we could talk to you like you are this fucking crazy person. No, you can suck my fucking dick is what you can do. If not, kiss my ass. Either way, you're an absolute piece of fucking garbage trash. And I got no time for trash. See, if trash wants to treat me a certain way, trash can get fucked. Right? I ain't joining trash's group. And that's what trash wants me to do. They want me to join their group and they want to belittle me. And then after they belittle me, see, here's the thing about old school guys that just bother me. For me to get in any of these groups without me doing something, I have to go in and I'd have to let them belittle me into nothingness. And I'd have to take that for days, maybe weeks, maybe a few months. I'd have to shut my mouth all the time and just take it. At the end of complete character assassination where I make no effort to defend myself at all, at the end of truly destroying me, the old school will finally say, okay, now you can take part. I'll pass. A hard pass, just to let you know. It will never happen, so that's a hard pass. That's why me and that community in that way will never heal. But if some people from that community see me in a different way and want to have a better relationship with me, this could be a way we can do it. I'll never directly be connected to that community in the same way anymore, but if you want to be connected to me, with me, this is a way. Join this, and maybe we can game together and have a lot of fun. And of course, again, down the road, I'd be open to other games, but starting with 2nd edition. Because I really think 2nd edition never really got its promo time, like the other D&D editions. TSR was just going out of business. I just think the game never got a fair shake. A proper fair shake. And even with the OSR coming back, it's like, what, 1 or 2 clone things related to it. It doesn't get a fair shake, even though I think it's an absolutely wonderful game and much better than AD&D 1st edition. Worlds apart and better. Like second edition is so much better than 1st edition, it's not even on the same page. Right? That's how good the game is. And I know 1st edition fucking crackheads don't want to acknowledge that or give it its time. Almost nobody does. So I personally like to put a focus on second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, just because everyone else doesn't. It's a game neutral to me because almost every old school guy I talk to on here tells me, well, second edition isn't old school. Now, I know it is, and you know it is. We know it is. It's TSR, it's old school, it's in that gaming era. We know. But let old men be childish. Let them be the way they are. Let them dismiss the game. And what I say to second edition people, including myself, is, all right, let's not count ourselves as part of that group anymore. But we're not part of the new school either. We're the true middle ground, right? And that's where I think there's a spot for that. And I think it's desperately needed in the hobby. A middle ground. Where people don't feel like they're in a civil war within the hobby. I want people to join with us who don't feel like they're in a civil war. Like 5e people can talk to second edition people. That's really my dream. I have another group called Unity, which is my aim with that as well. Bringing people together that like tabletop role-playing game content, but are willing to talk about it no matter what game they're into. It's like, it's where the new school doesn't look at the old school as something different. Where everybody sees it as the D&D guy and the vampire guy are both in the same tabletop role-playing game community. Like, I know there's a difference between what we do, but there's similarities too. It's like video games. I don't know anybody who just says, I'm just this video game. No, everyone plays different video games with different people. To me, I don't expect everyone to be trying every tabletop role-playing game, but I do see it as something that's necessary. It's being tried a whole bunch of times and not worked so well. And I look over at Roll20, where they're just banning people left and right that are old school and shit like that. I'm like, well, that's not a fair place for the community overall to get together. Not if people are censoring people for political reasons. And the political reason isn't because you're a MAGA or something. It's like something simple. Don't like his gaming opinion, he's a conservative. Do we know anything else about the guy before we banned him? Absolutely not. We banned him. Roll20 tells you right away it is not the future. Right? That's, unless you want that to be the future. Where so many people are cut out of gaming. Because that guy, him and a liberal agree on 90% of shit, but because he's a conservative and that's a liberal, there's 10% they don't agree on, and that 10% is the reason we're going to censor people off Roll20 so they can't game. I mean, they're censoring people, and the people haven't said anything extreme to get censored. Like, that's happening on Roll20 for real. So I look at that as, that's not a future for me. I can't even go there, and I've done nothing wrong on Roll20. I should have, every account I should ever try to make on there should be completely free to go on. I shouldn't have a mod who doesn't like my gaming opinion from YouTube go, oh, he made another account, let me ban him. And that happens. All the time. So that's Roll20. And people like myself, I look at it and go, well, people like me can't count on that. Right? So I think there needs to be a place where it's truly just about the community and something minor like, oh, you're a conservative. Like, I would never want to make a group where it's like, man, that guy's a liberal. Let's ban him. Did he say anything wrong? Nope. He has a gaming opinion some of us don't like. Okay. But did he say anything controversial? Nope. Steven, we're just going to ban him because he's a liberal? Yeah. And everyone would think that's wrong. That's terrible. Don't ban somebody because they're just a fucking liberal who's done nothing wrong. Well, of course it's bad. But when Roll20 does it, it's not like it's less bad. It's exactly the same thing. And that's what they're doing, is what I described I would be doing if I banned a liberal for no good fucking reason. Right? So that's another reason I have a little bit of passion of going, let's create somewhere else to game. Let's create another group, another thing, and game there. Right? Another thing is I prefer theater of the mind, so another advantage to me, and I'd like to meet other theater of the mind people, or people willing to game with a DM who doesn't use miniatures. The second you get to me, I don't need a miniature board. Like, I'm theater of the mind. All I need is one of those dice rollers, and then we can just talk. That's all I need. Right? Well, maybe where I can show you some images, but I mean, it's not like I need a board or pieces to move. And so that's a big advantage to someone like me. I look at Roll20 and go, well, on top of you banning me, I just don't see the necessity of it. I don't need Roll20. So that's a convenient part of it. But I don't need it. Miniatures are not necessary. And I don't think miniatures are the future of the game. I know that's not what people want to hear either, but I think if you want to get away from video games, the easiest way to do that is to go theater of the mind. Like if you want to make something so unique that they can't just copy it into a game, and honestly, I think it should be more like that than it is. Say, I would never want to do something where the guys who made Divinity Sin could just turn it into a game. Because if they could turn what I'm doing into a video game, to me, that's not a tabletop role-playing game. Initially, the rules are made for the video game. And with, say, 5e, given that the most average combat could take 1 or 2 hours, yeah, that's not a game made for tabletop role-playing gaming. That game, with that terrible combat, and 5e has the worst combat out of all of D&D editions, that fucking trash combat works great for a video game. It just doesn't work at a table. I mean, if your most average fight is fucking, you're sitting there for like 2 hours in, and the worst part about 5e, here's what bothers me. I knew this when I was going to go DM it, and I finally did DM it. I knew exactly how this would go. Guys had told me for years, here's the shitty part, Steven. I play 5e. Yes, the fights take an hour or 2 hours long. Well, I said, that's the shitty part, right? He's like, no, that's not the shitty part. What's the shitty part? He's like, I don't know a player who doesn't know how the fight's going to go after 10 minutes. You get it? So basically, in 5e combat, you know most of the outcome 10 or 15 minutes into it. But then you've got to keep playing a fight where you know the outcome for another hour and a half. If not more. And that's a consistent experience for 5e players. Consistent. They go into these fights that take hours where you know 10 minutes in. Like, you could end the fight 10 minutes in. Now, in old school, the same combat that you're doing in 5e might take 20 minutes. And I guarantee, because of how back and forth it really can be, and crazy, no matter how bad the dice rolling is earlier to later, it's impossible, just about impossible, to predict the full-on ending of a combat scene in old school. Like, so, if you're in a 20-minute normal combat, and you're like 5 minutes in, you won't be like, I know how this is going to... I mean, you could say it, and in very rare cases, you might get it right. But most of the time, it's going to be either worse than what you thought, it's going to blow up in different ways, because it's fast and chaotic in a good way. And that's combat. It's meant to be fast and chaotic. And it feels fast and chaotic in old school, right? And it's just a difference. You're not sitting there for like 2 hours going, all right, dude, 10 minutes in, yeah, we were losing this one. Like 10 minutes before the end of the fight, you're just like, yeah, okay, so how are we losing it? And then you lose it. Total party kill. Or, yeah, we got these guys 10 minutes in. And I've watched tables where the 5e players have been through this so many times that you can see the absolute boredom set in. They don't pay attention. They turn to the things. And you notice the DM, because of how casual this is for his players to experience. I watch 5e DMs, and they don't even get mad at people for behaving like this sort of, yeah, fight's going, yeah, okay, sure. And it does something completely unrelated to the game. They just waiting their turns, barely paying attention, and it's just giving up because it's hard to ask people to pay attention when combat is that terrible. When your average combat is 2 hours, and 10 minutes in they know what's going on. The DMs feel like if they bug their players, they're going to get players to leave, because it's like, who wants to sit there and go through that when combat is the centerpiece of D&D? Almost everything to do with your character will be related to their combat situation. Not all things, but a lot of it, right? And it's the only unique area of D&D, because every other part of D&D is repeated in other tabletop role-playing games. So the only thing that makes D&D unique from any tabletop role-playing game is the combat. To me, D&D is the combat. And if you get combat wrong, you break the game. I don't care how well this system over here works. Combat is Dungeons and Dragons, right? It is. That's the pure essence of it right there. That's at least the main piece of the pie. And if you get that wrong, you fuck the game up. I don't care what else you did. So when I look at 5e, I see an extremely broken game. And it really is. And it feels that way and plays that way at the table. It's nice that you could turn it into a video game where I'm doing combat that would take you 4 hours at the table in a normal 5e session, but you could do it in 20 minutes playing the video game. But the video game has all these little things where it's like, check done, check done, check done, check done, check. The amount of time consumed when you got to go, what about this, what about this, and the time consumed doing players when you're checking this, rolling here, this guy's attacking, this guy's coming down. You could be there for 4 fucking hours. Yet you could play Baldur's Gate 3 and be there in 15 minutes. Done. Even worse is I see some of the people playing Baldur's Gate 3 that have never played a tabletop role-playing game before. And this was true about Final Fantasy people when I was young too. People come over to you like, man, I played a role-playing game. And they think that at the table is what they're going to do compared to what they experienced with Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, oh, dude. That's... You should play Baldur's Gate 3 more like it's a Divinity Sin game than to expect that your experience with Baldur's Gate 3 will even remotely line up with the experience at the table. Like, those things are just, they're so vastly different that I guess they're using the same rules, but I gotta tell you, you will not feel whatsoever like you are playing the same game. Because you're happy to play Baldur's Gate 3. Imagine that 20-minute fight and you're sitting at the table with like 5 other people, say, and next thing you know, it's 2 hours in, the fight's not over, and you realize the fight that's taken you over 2 hours is smaller than some of the 15 to 20-minute fights that you faced in Baldur's Gate 3. And you're like, how? But if you pay attention, you'll realize how. All the little things that really move quickly when you're playing the game, click, 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 click. That something goes bing, bing, bing. That bing, bing, bing could be 25 minutes at the table. It only took you to go bing, 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 done. Seconds. Do the same thing at the table because you got to talk to people, ask questions, communication. 25 minutes later, and only the things that you would have bing, 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 only those are done, and you're still doing more. And you're still doing more. So, what could take you less than 10 seconds could take you 25 minutes at the table. And it does. And people experience this all the time with 5e. And there's advice. The fucking creator, Mike Mearls, who developed these things, came out himself and said, combat in 5e is broken. Well, Mike Mearls didn't want to admit this to you, but by saying that, he's saying 5e is no good. Because it doesn't matter what else they do good. What makes a D&D game? What is unique about a D&D game that other tabletop role-playing games are not doing? It's Dungeons and Dragons combat. And it's one of the biggest drawing pieces to the entire system. Leveling up, the classes, the whole thing. Combat all mixed into that. That's the core of what has drawn most people to the game. And if you don't believe me, just pay attention to the game itself. It's mostly built around combat. Why would the game put so much focus on combat? Because the combat is D&D. And if you mess that up, all the other elements you can't say is really D&D, because these are just things you do in every other tabletop role-playing game. So that's not D&D, that's not D&D. Only the combat is Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're working at WotC, the only job you have, if nothing else, the only main thing you need to get right before everything else is combat. Now, I don't care how well the combat might work out. Like, you could play Baldur's Gate 3 combat, and you're like, yeah, the combat for the rules here didn't work out too bad. It wasn't too bad. But I'm like, all right, fair enough. What if the rules are fine, right? What if they all worked out, math, blah, blah, blah. Work good in the video game, right? If it takes 3 hours to do that, it's broken. But the math is right. No. Let me say it again. If it takes 2 to 3 hours to do that, it's broken. You can't pace combat like that. Not average combat, which is what they do with 5e. If it takes 3 hours, it's broken. Oh, the rules are... No. No, doesn't. The system has a time limit to produce things. And that's all part of the experience. Right? The pace, the chaos, right? All that. And yes, the combat is meant to create that. Right? To push that. If you know, if most fights are 2 to 3 hours, which they are, and you know 10 minutes in the outcome of the fight, so you got to sit there for another hour and a half, 5e is fucked. Fucked. It's a thing with a bunch of great ideas that are very attractive. And when you finally put them into a video game and you see how that works, on the video game end, I do get the appeal. I'm not naive. I played Baldur's Gate 3 quite a bit. Still am. I get it. I don't think all the rules for 5e are that fucking terrible. It's just, I know that if you take those rules, it takes 2 hours to do what should only take 20 fucking minutes to do. If you're going to be on 20 minutes for the average fight, you fucked the game. You know nothing about tabletop role-playing games, and you know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons. That's it. You don't know what it was meant for, the experience it was creating. You are now just selling another tabletop role-playing game that uses the name Dungeons and Dragons. It's not really Dungeons and Dragons. Not in any sincere way. 5e is so far away from what Gary and them created that it truly is not Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not trying to, what's real? I'm just saying, whatever is real, 5e is not real Dungeons and Dragons. There you go. So, anyway,